My child, 99% will scroll past this moment, but you stopped for a reason. They counted you out, ignored your pain, and thought your story was over. But heaven never rejected you. I chose you before they walked away from you, and what I am about to do in your life will leave every doubter speechless. My beloved child, stop scrolling for a moment and listen carefully to my voice, because this message is not appearing before you by accident. I brought you here intentionally. Out of all the people passing by, out of all the distracted hearts moving quickly through their day, your eyes stopped here because your spirit needed this word from me. You have cried silently for too long. You have carried hidden pain for too long. You have smiled in front of people while secretly feeling forgotten, overlooked, and emotionally exhausted. But today I am speaking directly into your soul, and I need you to hear me clearly. I have not forgotten you. I have not moved on from you. I have not abandoned the promises I spoke over your life. I know there were moments when you believed nobody truly saw your pain. People judged you by your struggles. They looked at your delays and assumed you were failing. They watched you fight battles privately while offering no understanding for the pressure crushing your heart. Some people even counted you out completely. They assumed your story would never change. They believed your best days were behind you. They looked at your silence and called it weakness. They looked at your waiting season and called it failure. But they never understood what heaven was doing behind the scenes. My child, while they were doubting you, I was protecting you. While they were overlooking you, I was preparing you. While they were walking away from you, I was drawing closer to you. The rejection you experienced from people never changed my love for you. In fact, before they rejected you, I had already chosen you. Before they ignored your value, I had already written purpose over your life. Before they spoke negatively about your future, heaven had already declared that your story would not end in defeat. I know how rejection wounded your spirit. I know the heartbreak you carried after being misunderstood, abandoned, or ignored by people you loved deeply. I saw how their words stayed inside your mind long after conversations ended. I saw how disappointment slowly weakened your confidence. There were nights when you questioned your own worth because of how people treated you. There were moments when you wondered if maybe they were right about you. Maybe you were not good enough. Maybe your dreams would never happen. Maybe your future would remain stuck forever. But my beloved child, those thoughts were never the truth. You must understand something now. People can reject what heaven has already approved. Human opinions do not have authority over your destiny. The same people who overlooked David while he cared for sheep could not stop him from becoming king. The same people who mocked Joseph could not stop the palace waiting for him. And the same people who doubted you cannot stop what I have already declared over your future. I am not limited by human rejection. I am not restricted by what people think about you. My plans for your life were never dependent on human approval. There is a reason the enemy attacked your confidence so heavily. There is a reason discouragement followed you through so many seasons. There is a reason disappointment tried to settle permanently inside your heart. It is because darkness recognized the calling over your life before you fully recognized it yourself. The enemy wanted you emotionally exhausted because tired people stopped believing. He wanted your heart filled with fear because fearful people stop expecting miracles. He wanted you focused on rejection because wounded people often forget their value. But despite every attack, despite every painful season, despite every moment when you almost gave up completely, you are still here. and that alone is proof that my hand has been sustaining you. My child, I need you to stop measuring your future by your current pain. Your current season is not your final destination. The tears you cried are not the conclusion of your story. The waiting you endured is not evidence that I abandoned you. Sometimes I allow hidden seasons because I am preparing hidden strength inside you. Sometimes I allow isolation because I need to separate you from voices that would weaken your faith. Sometimes I allow delays because timing matters deeply when I prepare blessings that will permanently change your life. You kept asking me why everything felt so heavy. You wondered why your path looked harder than everyone else's. But my beloved child, your battles were connected to your calling. The greater the assignment over your life, the stronger the resistance often becomes. The enemy does not attack empty futures. He attacks purpose. He attacks destiny. He attacks people heaven intends to use powerfully. And that is why your journey felt so difficult at times. Not because you were forgotten, but because your future carries significance beyond what you currently understand. Comment Amen. You are my fortress if Jesus is your safety and strength. While you felt overlooked by the world, heaven continued speaking your name. While you cried alone in your room, angels still surrounded your life. While people underestimated your potential, I continued building strength, wisdom, endurance, and spiritual depth inside you. The process hurt, yes. The waiting exhausted you, yes. But none of it was meaningless. I was shipping you through every painful chapter. And now I am telling you something important. The season is beginning to change. The same people who dismissed you are about to witness my favor moving over your life. The same individuals who assumed you would remain broken are about to watch me restore your peace. The same voices that doubted your future are about to become silent when they see what heaven releases into your life. Because I am not finished writing your story, do not allow bitterness to control your heart now. I know rejection left scars. I know betrayal created trust issues. I know disappointment made you afraid to hope again. But you cannot carry old wounds into the new season I am preparing for you. I need you to trust me even when healing feels slow. I need you to believe me even while visible answers are still unfolding. Because breakthrough often begins quietly before it suddenly becomes visible. There are doors I am preparing to open for you that nobody can shut. There are blessings already moving toward your life. There are conversations happening behind the scenes that will shift your future unexpectedly. There are people I am aligning who will help push you toward your destiny instead of pulling you away from it. You may not fully see the movement yet, but heaven is already active around your life. My precious child, stop believing the lie that you are forgotten. Forgotten people do not receive words directly from heaven. Forgotten people are not protected through battles that should have destroyed them. Forgotten people are not carried through seasons they should not have survived. You are still standing because my purpose for your life is still alive. I know you became tired from constantly trying to prove your worth to people. I know you exhausted yourself trying to earn love, acceptance, and validation. But hear me clearly now. You do not need human approval to walk into the destiny I prepared for you. Your identity comes from me, not from people's opinions. Your value comes from me, not from how others treated you. And your future is determined by my plans, not by human rejection. The people who walked away did not cancel your purpose. The doors that closed did not cancel your calling. The delays you experienced did not cancel your blessing. Everything is still unfolding according to my timing. And what I am about to do next in your life will prove that heaven never abandoned you even during your darkest season. My beloved child, hold on a little longer. Stay close to me. Keep praying even when you feel weak. Keep trusting even while answers are still forming. Because the chapter ahead of you will not look like the chapter behind you. What is coming will restore your confidence. What is coming will heal your wounds. What is coming will remind you that being rejected by people never meant being rejected by heaven. And very soon, the same people who counted you out will stand speechless watching me lift you in ways only I could have arranged. My beloved child, stop scrolling and stay with me for these next few moments, because this message was not placed before your eyes by accident. Out of millions of people moving through their day, distracted by noise, pressure, fear, and endless thoughts, you stopped here because I wanted you here. I guided your eyes to these words because your spirit has been crying out for something real, something deeper, something that could finally reach the pain you have been carrying in silence. I know you have heard many voices lately. Voices of doubt. Voices of disappointment. Voices telling you that nothing will change and that your life will always remain trapped in the same exhausting cycle. But now I need you to quiet every other voice and listen only to mine, because I am about to remind you of who you truly are and what I am preparing to do in your life. Please support our channel. Our work is to bring happiness in your life and devotion to God. And if you want, you can donate to us, given link in description or pinned comment to show your support. My child, I know there were moments when you felt invisible. I know what it feels like when people overlook your heart while only noticing your struggles. I know the pain of trying your best while still feeling unappreciated, misunderstood, and emotionally drained. I watched you continue showing kindness even after being hurt repeatedly. I watched you carry burdens silently because you did not want to become a burden to anyone else. I saw the tears you wiped away before anyone could notice them. I heard the prayers you whispered quietly into the darkness when your heart became too heavy to carry alone. And now I am telling you this clearly. I was listening the entire time. You thought heaven was silent because answers did not come quickly. You thought perhaps I had moved on because your waiting season became longer than you expected. There were days when disappointment filled your chest so heavily that even praying became difficult. You wondered if maybe your breakthrough would never come. You questioned whether your dreams were too broken to recover. You watched other people move forward while your own life felt paused, delayed, and emotionally exhausting. But my beloved child, what you saw as delay was often divine protection. What you called silence was actually preparation. While you believed nothing was happening, I was already moving things behind the scenes in ways your natural eyes could not yet recognize. There are spiritual battles connected to your destiny that you never fully understood. The enemy wanted your faith destroyed because he recognized the calling over your life. He attacked your confidence because insecure people stopped believing in miracles. He attacked your peace because anxious hearts struggled to trust my timing. He attacked your mind because if he could fill your thoughts with fear, he could weaken your ability to recognize my voice. But despite every attack, despite every painful season, despite every moment when you almost gave up completely, you are still standing today. Bruised, yes. Tired, yes. Wounded in some places, yes. But still here. And the reason you survived what should have destroyed you is because my hand never left your life. My child, I need you to understand something deeply now. You are not forgotten. Forgotten people are not protected through storms they should not have survived. Forgotten people are not carried through emotional battles that should have broken their spirit completely. Forgotten people do not continue receiving mercy after mercy despite feeling weak and exhausted. You are still breathing because my purpose over your life is still alive. I have not abandoned your future. I have not canceled the promises I spoke over you. And I have not allowed your pain to become meaningless. There were moments when people judged you unfairly because they only saw your current struggle, not the future I was preparing inside you. They looked at your delays and assumed you were failing. They looked at your silence and assumed you had nothing valuable left inside you. Some people even counted you out completely because they could not understand why your process looked different from theirs. But my child, human opinions never determine heavenly decisions. The same people who doubted Joseph could not stop the palace waiting for him. The same people who ignored David could not stop the crown prepared for him. And the same people who underestimated you cannot stop what I already declared over your future before you were even born. I know rejection wounded your confidence deeply. I know betrayal made trusting difficult. I know disappointment left scars inside your spirit that people cannot see from the outside. You became cautious because life hurt you repeatedly. You learned how to hide your emotions because too many people misunderstood your heart. But my beloved child, I never stopped seeing the real you underneath all the pain. I still see the dreams hidden beneath your exhaustion. I still see the kindness buried beneath your disappointment. I still see the strength inside you even when you feel emotionally weak. And I am calling that strength back to life now. This message is not random entertainment. This is a divine interruption. I interrupted your scrolling because I needed your attention before the next season of your life begins unfolding. You are standing at the edge of change even though you cannot fully see it yet. The atmosphere around your life is shifting. Certain chains are beginning to break. Certain doors are beginning to lock. Certain battles are beginning to lose their power over you. And while you still feel uncertain about many things, heaven is already moving with certainty concerning your future. Do not allow fear to pull you backward now. Do not let disappointment convince you that expecting miracles is foolish. I know you became tired of hoping after so many delays. I know your heart became guarded because unanswered prayers made you afraid of disappointment. But this is not the season to stop believing. This is the season to trust me deeper than before. Because what I am preparing to release into your life will require faith strong enough to receive it fully. My child, I also need you to stop comparing your journey to the journeys of other people. You do not know the full story behind what you see. You do not know what battles others carry privately. And most importantly, you do not know the specific timing I designed for each individual life. Your process is unique because your calling is unique. I have been shaping you differently because the future ahead of you requires different preparation. The waiting season did not mean you were behind. It meant I was building foundations strong enough to carry the weight of the blessings coming next. There are things I allowed to leave your life because they could not enter your future with you. Some relationships were draining your peace. Some environments were weakening your spirit. Some habits were keeping you emotionally trapped in cycles of fear and insecurity. And because I love you too much to let those things destroy your destiny, I began separating you from what no longer aligned with where I am taking you. I know it hurt when certain doors closed. I know it felt painful when certain people walked away. But later you will realize many of those painful endings were actually acts of protection sent from heaven. My beloved child, pay close attention now because this next season will not look like the previous one. You are not entering another cycle of endless disappointment. You are not entering another chapter filled only with struggle and exhaustion. I am restoring things inside you that pain tried to destroy. I am rebuilding confidence where rejection created insecurity. I am breathing hope back into dreams you almost gave up on completely. And I am preparing opportunities that will remind you your story was never over. The enemy wanted your heart so wounded that you would stop expecting good things from me. But he failed. Because even after everything you survived, a small part of your faith kept holding on. Even during your darkest nights, your spirit still cried out toward heaven. And because you continued reaching for me even while wounded, I am about to respond in ways you did not expect. So stay close to me now, my child. Guard your heart from fear. Protect your mind from negative voices. Do not let bitterness poison your spirit while heaven is preparing restoration for your life. The people who doubted you do not get the final word over your future. The pain you experience does not define your destiny. And the delays you endure do not cancel the promises I spoke over your life. I brought you here today because I needed to remind you of something your pain almost made you forget. You are still chosen, still loved, still protected, and still deeply connected to a future filled with purpose. And what I am about to do next in your life will become undeniable proof that heaven never stopped fighting for you even during the seasons when you felt completely alone. My beloved child, I know the pain you felt when people counted you out before your story had even begun. I know what it feels like when others decide your worth based only on your struggles, your delays, your mistakes, or your weakest moments. I watched the disappointment settle into your heart every time you gave your best and still felt unseen. I saw the sadness behind your smile when people overlooked your kindness, ignored your loyalty, and failed to recognize the depth of the battle you were quietly fighting inside. There were moments when you felt like you were standing in a crowded room yet still completely alone. People heard your voice but never truly listened to your heart. They saw your outside appearance while missing the pain buried deep within your spirit. My child, there were seasons when rejection followed you so heavily that you began expecting disappointment before anything even happened. You became afraid to hope too much because too many things had already broken your heart. You learned how to protect yourself emotionally because life kept teaching you painful lessons about trust. Some people made promises they never intended to keep. Some people walked away the moment your struggles became inconvenient for them. Others only stayed close while you had something useful to offer. And after enough heartbreak, you quietly started wondering if maybe there was something wrong with you. But my beloved child, hear me clearly now. Their rejection never changed your value. Human disappointment does not cancel heavenly purpose. The way people treated you was never proof that you were unworthy of love, blessing, or destiny. It only revealed the limitations inside their own hearts. Some people could not recognize your value because they only judge what they can immediately understand. They saw your struggle but not your strength. They saw your wounds but not your endurance. They saw your waiting season but not the powerful future I was still preparing behind the scenes. I know there were times when their words stayed trapped inside your mind long after the conversations ended. I know how deeply criticism wounded your confidence. Some people spoke carelessly over your life without understanding the damage their words created inside your spirit. Others compared you to people around you until you started questioning your own progress. There were moments when you looked at yourself through the eyes of rejection instead of through my eyes of love. And slowly, without realizing it, you started believing lies about yourself that heaven never spoke over you. You believed you were behind in life, because your timing looked different from others. You believed you were failing because certain dreams took longer than expected. You believed you were weak because emotional exhaustion made it difficult to keep pretending everything was fine. But my child, your delays were never proof of abandonment. Your pain was never proof of failure. And your struggles were never signs that I had forgotten you. Some of your hardest seasons were actually moments when I was protecting you from paths that would have destroyed your peace later. There were also people who secretly enjoyed seeing you struggle because your potential intimidated them. They smiled outwardly while quietly doubting you inwardly. They pretended to support you while secretly expecting you to fail. And because your heart was sincere, you often ignored warning signs hoping people's intentions were pure. But I saw everything clearly. I saw conversations you never heard. I saw jealousy hidden behind fake encouragement. I saw the silent competition some people carried against you even while pretending to stand beside you. And because I love you deeply, I could not allow every person to continue walking closely with you forever. My beloved child, I know rejection made you feel invisible at times. I know there were moments when you cried privately because you felt forgotten by everyone around you. You watched people celebrate others while your own efforts seemed unnoticed. You watched doors open for others while your own prayers remained unanswered. And there were nights when you quietly asked me, Lord, why does it feel like nobody chooses me? But what you could not see was this. While people were rejecting you, heaven was still selecting you. While they overlooked your value, I continued speaking purpose over your life. While they doubted your future, I was already arranging pieces of your destiny together behind the scenes. The enemy used rejection strategically because wounded hearts often stop expecting good things. He wanted you emotionally exhausted. He wanted your confidence destroyed. He wanted disappointment to settle so deeply inside you that you would stop believing your life could ever truly change. He wanted you to look at yourself through the lens of failure instead of through the truth of who I created you to be. But despite every painful season, despite every betrayal, despite every moment when your heart felt crushed beneath disappointment, you survived. And the reason you survived is because my hand never stopped carrying you even when your spirit felt weak. Type Amen. I rest in your plan if His will gives you peace. My child, you became stronger than you realized during those painful seasons. Every tear taught you compassion. Every disappointment taught you discernment. Every betrayal pushed you closer to my voice. Every lonely night strengthened your spiritual endurance even when you thought you were falling apart emotionally. You believed rejection was destroying you, but often it was separating you from environments and people that could never support your destiny anyway. There are some places you were too valuable to remain in permanently. There are some people who could never appreciate the calling resting over your life because they only understood temporary comfort, not eternal purpose. And if I allowed certain relationships to fall apart, it was because they were becoming barriers instead of blessings. I know the separation hurt. I know the loneliness became overwhelming at times. But many of the endings you mourned were actually acts of protection from heaven. My beloved child, stop blaming yourself for everything that went wrong. Stop carrying guilt for things outside your control. Stop believing every painful word people spoke over you. Human opinions are temporary, but my truth remains eternal. I did not create you to spend your life chasing acceptance from people who cannot even recognize your worth. I created you to walk confidently in the identity I already gave you before the world ever formed opinions about you. You are not forgotten because your process took longer. You are not less valuable because your path looked different. You are not disqualified because you struggled emotionally. And you are not abandoned because certain people walked away from you. In fact, many times when people left your life, they unknowingly made room for the greater things I was preparing next. I know you became tired of trying to prove yourself. I know you became exhausted from constantly feeling misunderstood. You wanted someone to finally see your heart completely. You wanted someone to understand the weight you carried privately. But my child, I'd always saw you fully. I saw the kindness hidden beneath your pain. I saw the strength hidden beneath your exhaustion. I saw the hope still fighting to survive deep inside your wounded spirit. And even during your lowest moments, my love for you never changed. This is why I am speaking to you now with urgency, because I need you to stop building your identity around rejection. Your future cannot grow properly while your heart still believes you are unwanted. You must allow me to heal the places inside you where disappointment settled deeply. You must let go of the voices that convinced you your story would never improve. You must stop measuring your value through the opinions of people who never understood your purpose. The same people who dismissed you cannot stop the destiny I've already prepared for you. The same voices that criticized you cannot cancel the blessings moving toward your life. And the same individuals who assumed your story was over will soon witness me lifting you in ways they never expected. My precious child, your rejection was never the end of your story. It was only a painful chapter that heaven will eventually use as part of your testimony. One day you will look back and realize that every painful moment was shaping you for something greater than you could understand at the time. And when I finally reveal what I prepared for your future, even the people who doubted you will stand speechless watching my favor move powerfully over your life. My beloved child, before anyone rejected you, I already chose you. Before people misunderstood your heart, I already knew every detail of your soul. Before anyone spoke negatively about your future, I already declared purpose over your life. You must understand this deeply now because too much of your pain has come from believing human rejection carried more authority than my love. But people do not decide your destiny. They never did. Long before this world formed opinions about you, long before anyone had the power to wound your confidence, I had already called you mine. I knew your name before you were born. I knew every battle you would face. I knew every tear you would cry, every disappointment you would survive, every lonely night you would endure, and still I chose you. I did not choose you because you would always feel strong. I did not choose you because you would live perfectly. I chose you because my love for you existed before your struggles ever began. Nothing that happened in your life surprised me. Nothing you experienced canceled the calling I placed over your future. Even now, while you still feel uncertain about many things, heaven remains completely certain about you. My child, too many times you allowed rejection to rewrite the way you saw yourself. You listened to the voices of people more than the voice of your Creator. When they ignored you, you started believing you were unimportant. When they walked away, you started believing you were difficult to love. When they underestimated you, you started questioning your own potential. Slowly, disappointment shaped your identity more than my truth did. But today I am calling you back to the truth of who you really are. You are not unwanted. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible to heaven. You are not behind in life. And you are not abandoned simply because certain people failed to appreciate your heart. The opinions of people cannot erase what I already spoke over your existence. I formed you intentionally. I placed gifts inside you intentionally. I allowed you to survive every painful season intentionally. There is purpose attached to your life that cannot be canceled by rejection. My beloved child, I know there were moments when you compared yourself to others and quietly wondered why their lives seemed easier. You questioned why doors opened quickly for some people while your own journey felt delayed and exhausting. You wondered why some individuals received support while you often had to survive alone emotionally. But my child, comparison has blinded you from recognizing the depth of what I am building inside you. Some blessings require deeper preparation because they carry greater responsibility. Some journeys take longer because the destiny attached to them reaches farther than you currently understand. The enemy worked hard to make you feel rejected because he knew if you ever fully understood who you are in my eyes, fear would lose its power over you. He knew if you recognized how deeply heaven values you, insecurity would no longer control your decisions. He knew if you truly believed you were chosen by me, you would stop begging for acceptance from people who were never assigned to define your worth in the first place. My child, there were times when you tried to change yourself just to keep people from leaving. You became quieter to avoid conflict. You hid your emotions to avoid being misunderstood. You carried pain privately because you feared becoming too much for others. You tried to earn love by overgiving, over-explaining, and overextending yourself emotionally. But listen carefully now. Real love never requires you to destroy yourself just to be accepted. I never asked you to lose your identity trying to keep people comfortable. I created you with intention. Your sensitivity was intentional. Your heart was intentional. Your compassion was intentional. Even the battles you survived became part of the strength I am building inside you. Stop apologizing for the very qualities heaven placed within your spirit. Stop shrinking yourself because rejection made you afraid of taking up space in the world. You were not created to live hidden beneath fear and insecurity. You were created to shine with purpose, confidence, love, and spiritual strength. My beloved child, I'd also need you to understand something important about the waiting season you have been living through. While you felt overlooked by people, I was developing parts of your spirit that could only grow through hidden seasons. The world celebrates visible success, but heaven often builds greatness privately first. Seeds grow underground before anyone sees the harvest. And in the same way, I have been growing wisdom, endurance, discernment, humility, and strength inside you while people assumed nothing important was happening. Do not mistake hidden seasons for forgotten seasons. Just because your breakthrough has not fully appeared yet does not mean heaven is inactive. Some of your greatest preparation happened during the moments when you felt the most invisible. While people overlooked you, I was strengthening you. While they underestimated you, I was shaping you. While they dismissed your future, I was arranging pieces of your destiny together quietly behind the scenes. I know rejection created deep wounds inside your heart. I know there are still moments when painful memories suddenly return and make you question yourself again. I know there are times when fear whispers that people will always leave eventually. But my child, I am healing those broken places now. I am teaching your heart how to rest in my love instead of depending completely on human validation. Because if you continue building your identity around people's opinions, your peace will always remain unstable. Your identity must come from me. Your worth must come from me. Your confidence must grow from the truth that heaven already chose you before this world ever formed opinions about you. You do not need to chase approval endlessly. You do not need to prove your value constantly. You do not need to exhaust yourself trying to earn love from people incapable of seeing your true heart. I see you fully, my beloved child. I see the parts of you nobody else notices. I see the kindness hidden behind your exhaustion. I see the strength you use daily just to keep moving forward despite emotional heaviness. I see the compassion you still carry even after being hurt repeatedly. And I tell you now with complete certainty, you are deeply loved, deeply valued, and deeply chosen by heaven. The rejection you experienced did not ruin your destiny. In many ways, it redirected you toward it. Some people had to leave because they were connected only to a temporary chapter, not your final destination. Some opportunities had to close because they were too small for the future I planned for you. Some disappointments were painful instructions guiding you away from paths that would have eventually broken your spirit more deeply later. Say amen. My fear bows to faith if you're walking in courage now. And share this video.